Your Excellency, General Abdul Salami Alhaji Abubakar, GCFR, former head of state and progenitor of the Fourth Republic, eminent members of the National Peace Committee, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Muhammad bin Yadi, party chairman, presidential candidates, other party chieftains and managers here present, the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic, here represented by distinguished Senator Borofis, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khali Baba, here as the IG and also representing all other service chiefs, the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, here represented, National Commissioners of INEC, members of the Diplomatic Corps, witnesses, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our dear country, Nigeria, is in the grip of election season. And some would say that it requires no qualification in political punditry to recognize that the elections that commence in 5 months' time will most probably be like none other that the country had previously witnessed. The Fourth Republic has been on since May of 1999, and we've had a series of general elections. But the 2023 elections present new opportunities, new challenges, and obviously, fresh threats. There have been deep concerns in the lead-up to the former flag-off of political campaigns yesterday, with sometimes inflammatory rhetoric and non-focus on critical issues and matters that will leave all who seek the very best for our country to be worried and concerned. Essentially because peace is a predicate to credible elections. Incidentally, and not because we do not have enough laws or enough prescriptions in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, but we do have a crop of eminent Nigerians who, in circumstances earlier, in 2014, apprehending the great threat that the polity confronted, came together as members of the National Peace Committee. And so, ahead of the 2015 election, we had the first National Peace Accord. For the 2019 election, the National Peace Committee, also in this auditorium, was also hard at work. And now, for the 2023 general elections, the National Peace Committee has rallied political parties, their candidates, and critical stakeholders for the first signing of the National Peace Accord. And this is because under the new Electoral Act, there are some 150 days now we can say 149 days to the commencement of voting. Experts will acknowledge that the credibility of an election isn't dependent solely on what happens on the day of voting. The process is critical, and the campaigns are crucial. It is for that reason, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that the National Peace Committee, under its auspices, is yet again organizing this peace accord. And this is a solemn event. We have seen how, on account of the moral force of the National Peace Committee and the Peace Accord, it has been invited to a number of off-cycle governorship elections. The candidates and their parties, and largely their supporters, have adhered to the spirit and letter of the Peace Accord. It will be the duty of the Chairman of the National Peace Committee, His Excellency General Abdulsalami Alhaji Abubakar DCSR, to formally welcome all of us to this event. Your Excellency General Abubakar, it's my privilege and honor to formally request you to deliver your welcome address. Senior citizen now, so he has all the privileges of taking his time to come to the podium.
Your Excellency, I beg your indulgence to come and establish the protocol. Your Excellency, I would like to welcome all of you to this very important event. That is the signing of the first peace accord for the 2023 general elections. In particular, I would like to welcome the political parties, their chairmen, and presidential candidates, including their spokespersons, as well as media aides and consultants. I would also like to welcome the diplomatic community, particularly the ambassadors of EU, US, UK, France, Germany, and our colleagues from the UN, ECOWAS, and UNOWAS. Furthermore, I would like our partners, particularly the elect chairman and his commissioners, civil society organizations, media houses, and everyone who has responded to our invitation to come to be the chief witness to the signing of this peace accord on issue-based campaign. Your Excellency, in 2015, the National Peace Committee signed only one peace accord, committing the then candidates to accepting the outcome of the votes as long as they are judged to be free, fair, and credible. In 2019, the same peace accord was signed twice, both close to the election, to commit the candidates to a peaceful electoral process. This peace was repeated during the off-season elections in different states. Your Excellency, the Peace Committee would like to thank the political party chairmen, candidates, and indeed all members for turning out in both 2015 and 2019. Despite all the challenges, our efforts contributed significantly to mitigating the violent conflict in this election. Now, the 2023 general elections are around the corner. Issues of major concern that have the potential to negatively impact on the integrity are emerging. One of such issues is the spread of fake news. Thus, fake news and misinformation continue to pose a significant threat to 2023 general elections. I'm told already the fake news have also declared the winner so far, even before the election. It has shifted focus away from the issue-based campaign and created a platform for political parties to resort to name calling, personal attacks, and character assassination. Furthermore, it has taken away our civility and decency in public discourse and conversation and created a toxic atmosphere that has the potential to incite citizens against the state, against other political parties and candidates. It is for this reason that the National Peace Committee has organized the signing of two peace accords for the 2023 general elections. The first peace accord, which holds today, is to commit all political parties, presidential candidates, and their spokespersons to peaceful political campaigns and rallies, devoid of violence, incitement, and personal insult, but also to define by issues at the very heart of the national development and progress. The second accord, God willing, will come out shortly before the election, and it is intended to commit the candidates to accepting the outcome of the vote as long as it is adjudged to be free, fair, and credible. We hope this will take place sometime in January next year. Your Excellency, it is time for us to promote issue-based campaigns. We are calling on politicians to address issues that are fundamental to the Nigerian system. We also want to promote respect, tolerance for differences in opinion. We want to ensure that there is civility and decency in public discourse. Therefore, on behalf of all the members of the National Peace Committee and all Nigerians, I am appealing to the political party chairmen, candidates, and their spokespersons to please campaign on the basis of issues that are of significant concern to Nigeria. Please avoid the spread of fake news, personal attacks, and insults, and comply with the spirit and letter of the accord. Finally, I want to appeal to the elected themselves to know that the issue of malpractices held by the elected themselves does no good to our electoral process. Finally, I would like to thank all the members of the Peace Committee for their commitment and dedication to the peace and unity of this country. I would also want to thank the European Union and the Swedes for their partnership and support. I would also want to thank the Honorable Minister IFCC for allowing us to use this edifice. I also want to thank the staff who have worked tirelessly to get this place ready for this signing process. May God bless our leader. May we continue to renew our and don't may peace return back to our country. God bless us. Thank you very much.
Former Vice President of the Federal Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is presidential candidate, is here present. Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, former Minister of the Federal Republic, former Governor of Kano State, and presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, is also in our midst. The presidential candidate of Action Alliance, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, is also present. And the national chairman of the Zenith Labour Party, Chief John Olayo, is also here in our midst. In the event that we have not mentioned your names, please bear with us. We will, in the next round of recognition, identify those who are here and appropriately recognize them. And to indicate that this event, aside from the battery of reporters that you have seen, the Kuka Center. The Kuka Center. Facebook and YouTube streaming at this time, live. I earlier indicated that the Secretary of the Government of the Federation is here represented, and that's by Dr. Habiba Muda, who is the Special Advisor to His Excellency President of the Federal Republic on policies and coordination. We will have some goodwill messages, and it's my pleasure at this time to invite the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to deliver his goodwill message.
The Chairman of the National Peace Committee, our respected former Head of State, General Abdulsalam Alhaji Abubakar, GCFR, the President of the Senate, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, members of the National Peace Committee, Chairmen of political parties, presidential candidates for the 2023 general election, the Inspector General of Police, heads of other security agencies, Your Excellency, the EU Ambassador to Nigeria and other members of the Diplomatic Corps, National Commissioners of INEC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the National Peace Committee for organizing this important event and for the opportunity to deliver a goodwill message on behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Twice in 2015 and 2019, political parties and candidates committed themselves to peaceful elections by signing the National Peace Accord organized by the National Peace Committee. The success of the National Peace Accord at the national level for the general election led to demand by stakeholders for the devolution of the same effort to major off-cycle elections at state level. In response, the National Peace Committee organized a peace accord ahead of the governorship elections in Edo in September 2020 and subsequently in 4 more elections. The result is not only the peaceful conduct of these elections, but that the process keeps improving one election after another. Today, the National Peace Committee is taking another giant step by inviting political parties and candidates to commit to peaceful electioneering campaign. This is important considering the connection between peaceful campaign on one hand and peaceful and credible elections on the other. The Commission appreciates the positive role of the Peace Committee in the progressive improvement of our elections in Nigeria. The Electoral Act 2022 provides for campaign in public by political parties not later than 150 days before polling day. Accordingly, campaign by political parties for the 2023 general elections officially commenced yesterday, Wednesday, 20th September 2022. This will continue until 24 hours before polling day, that is 25 February 2023, for national elections, presidential and national assembly, and 9th March 2023 for state elections, governorship, and houses of assembly. The implication is that for the next 148 days, political parties, candidates, and their supporters are free to traverse the country, holding meetings, rallies, processions, and door-to-door campaigns. They will grant interviews, sponsor indoor and outdoor advertisements, and publish other campaign materials. This is often a very delicate period indeed, characterized by excitement and anxiety. In line with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, and in our determination to play our role as regulators, the Independent National Electoral Commission will vigorously monitor compliance to ensure that parties shun abusive, intemperate, or slanderous language, as well as insinuations or innuendos likely to provoke a breach of the peace during the electioneering campaign. Similarly, the Commission will also closely monitor compliance with the limits on campaign spending as enshrined in the Electoral Act. There are sanctions provided by law. Political parties and candidates should study and familiarize themselves with the electoral legal framework to avoid any infraction of the law and the unhappy consequences that will follow any act of misdemeanor. For emphasis, I would like to draw attention to the provision of Section 95, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act. This is because in the past, so many political parties approached the Commission and complained. But Section 95, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act makes it illegal for state apparatus, meaning the power of incumbency, to be used to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or candidate, including the denial of the use of state facilities, public media organizations, or exorbitant charges for outdoor advertising, especially in terms of signages and billboards. And the law also prescribes penalties for any infraction. The 2023 general election will be conducted for 1,491 constituencies nationwide, made up of 1 presidential constituency, 28 governorship elections. In 8 states, the governorship elections are conducted off-site, like the last 2 elections conducted in Ekiti and Osun. We have 109 senatorial districts, 360 federal constituencies, and 993 state constituencies. Every constituency is important. Every election is important. Therefore, the commitment to peaceful and issue-based electioneering campaign should resonate beyond the 18 party chairmen and presidential candidates here today. It is not enough to simply sign the peace accord. What is most important is to abide by its letter and spirit. You should similarly pass the message to all your candidates, members and supporters across the country for compliance. This will be your own way of showing appreciation for the work of the National Peace Committee and an affirmation of your contribution to electoral peace in Nigeria. The Chairman of the National Peace Committee, Your Excellency General Abdulsalami Abubakar, members of the Peace Committee, INEC appreciates our partnership with you for peaceful elections, and may God continue to bless our efforts. I thank you very much.
I was the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Let's appreciate him for his goodwill message. And very quickly, before I invite the next goodwill message, we'll recognize the presence of the presidential candidate and party chair of the Action Democratic Party, that's Engineer Yabagi Yusuf Sani, is here with us. We also have the African Democratic Congress presidential candidate, Ibebi Kachiku, is here in the audience. The Social Democratic Party has its presidential candidate, Prince Adewale Adebayo, also here with us. And for its critical role, that's the National Orientation Agency, we have the Director General, Dr. Garba Abba. About 2 months ago, sometime in early August, at this venue, there was a launch, a commencement of a series of national workshops on election security management. On that occasion, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs was present. So was the Inspector General of Police, along with other service chiefs. And today, the Inspector General of Police is here again. He has a goodwill message on behalf of the services. The Inspector General of Police.
Your Excellency, the former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, ECFR, and other eminent members of the Peace Committee, the President of the Senate ably represented, the SDF ably represented, all other honorable ministers present here, party chairmen and officials, the candidates of the various political parties, chairmen and national commissioners of INEC, members of the diplomatic corps, chairman and members of the Police Service Commission, all other heads of security agencies, ladies and gentlemen. I am most heartily commend General Abdulsalami Abubakar, former Head of State and National Chairman of this committee, as well as other most respected members of the committee. The National Peace Committee, the Peace Accord signing event have now become an invaluable and integral component of our democratic practices. The significance of this initiative lies in the fact that it places moral burden on political actors, triggers their sense of patriotism, and challenges them to place national interest above narrow personal considerations in the legitimate pursuit of their political ambitions. Your Excellency, it would be appreciated that at various local and international engagements, the President Muhammad Buhari, the President of the Republic of Nigeria, has consistently affirmed his commitment to bequeathing a legacy of deepened democratic system and credible electoral process to the nation. In furtherance to this, Mr. President has constantly charged all agencies linked to the democratic process, including the Independent National Electoral Commission, the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies, as well as all political parties, to internalize the ethics of democracy, which emphasizes the supremacy of the will of the citizens as clearly the tune expressed in election cycles under a peaceful and stable security political order. It is also noted that Mr. President continues to strengthen the legal framework, processes, and the capacity of institutions that are statutorily involved in the electoral system of the country. Today's event complements Mr. President's initiative. This is the event, or this is to the extent that it is trying to build a cross-political and all-inclusive consensus in committing political parties, candidates, and their agents to the path of conducting their campaigns in a peaceful manner and in due consideration of overriding national security interests towards a credible 2023 general election. In aid of this process, it is essential that this unique forum be utilized to remind all political parties, citizens, and other strategic stakeholders in the electoral process of key provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, in relation to conduct that will negate the secret and contention of these efforts. In this regard, our attention needs to be drawn to the electoral offenses as captured in Section 225, Subsection 3 of the Constitution, prohibiting political parties from holding funds or other assets outside the country. This is complemented by Section 93 of the Electoral Act as amended, containing provisions on campaign financing, election expenses, limits of donations by individuals to fund political campaigns as a candidate, falsification of documents relating to election documents and funding limits are allowed by law. Cognizance must also be given duly to Section 94 to 102 of the Act, which contains provisions of offences relating to campaigns by political parties and the expected conduct by strategic actors in the process, including the applications of INEC, the media, the police, and other security agencies under these sections. The police are mandated for the following jobs. 1. Provide adequate security for processing and political rallies and campaigns. 2. Resolve conflicts of time and venue between parties in a consultative manner. And 3. Not to prevent any registered political party from holding rallies, processions, or meetings. The Act also prohibits political parties and their agents from violating conduct, such as 1. Political campaigns or slogans must not contain abusive language or use of language that are disrespectful to religious, ethnic, or tribal groups. 2. Abusive, slanderous, extreme, vile insinuations, or inferences likely to provoke violence must not be used in political campaigns. Places designated for religious worship, the police station and other public offices must not be used for political campaigns, rallies, and processions, nor to promote, propagate, or attack political parties or their candidates or their programs and ideologies.
The use of fear and intimidation, such as use of mass threats, physical force or coercion in any form, including the retention and the use of private security organizations, use of individuals for purpose of providing security and protection is prohibited. Section 81 of the Act and Section 227 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria prohibits any political party or individual from organizing, training or equipping or deploying any passive military group or specifically trained forces or partisan those in the electioneering campaign or broad electoral process. These include persons or groups trained for the purpose of causing or coercing or promoting any political objective or interest. Political parties and their agents are also prohibited from either directly or indirectly threatening a person with the use of force or violence during any political campaign, or to campaign or support, or refrain from supporting a political party or candidate. In addition, political parties are statutorily requested to undertake their campaigns within the prescribed time or period. The Electoral Act also prohibits the possession of offensive weapons, or missiles at any rally, procession, or voting center. In relation to the conduct of the media practitioners, the Act provides that a person or electronic media or body corporate must not broadcast, publish, advertise, or circulate any material for the purpose of promoting or opposing a political party or the election of a particular candidate over the radio, television, newspaper, magazine, handbill, or any print electronic media whatsoever for 24 hours immediately before any polling day. State media must not be used for anything against or any political party or for any political party or candidate. Media houses shall allot equal time, coverage, and opportunity to all parties and candidates. In this regard, I wish to call on the National Broadcasting Commission to note these provisions and ensure that the activities of the media practitioners are regulated accordingly. Against these highlights, Section 117 to 132 of firearms and offensive items, impersonation of voters' threats, bribery and inducement of electors, among others. In relation to electoral officials, the Act identifies the reduction of duty by electoral officials and acts of omission breach of official duty, failure to report promptly at polling units on an election day without lawful excuse, failure to discharge lawful duties at polling units without lawful excuse, knowingly publishing or announcing false results, knowingly delivering or causing to be delivered a false certificate of return to any news media, knowingly conspiring to make false declarations as a result of offenses. All these offenses which could attract judicial punishment or fine or items of imprisonment or conviction constitute major threats to our electoral process. Democratic advancement and national security. As we sign this accord, it is incumbent on all the political parties and all other strategic stakeholders that I have mentioned earlier in the electoral process to be committed to sensitizing their members and officials to be conscious of these provisions and resolve to avoid free and patriotically contravening them in the interest of our democracy and national security. I must at this juncture commend INEC for optimally leveraging on cutting-edge information and communication technology tools and introducing innovative actions that have proven to be effective in mitigating electoral offenses of multiple voting, for instance, multiple voting or result amplification while on transit to collection centers and effects of ballot box matching. These are offenses that can no longer be very valuable because of innovations of INEC. While these initiatives have deepened our democracy,
It is worrisome that political actors are unrelenting in exploring new acts directed at circumventing the electoral process. One of such is the ignoble and unlawful acts of vote buying and attempted cyber attacks on INEC cyber. We appreciate the assurance of INEC Chairman to continually safeguard the electoral process and to assure of support of the Nigeria Police. I wish to appeal to party officials to conduct their campaigns in a peaceful manner, devoid of ethnic, religious, hateful rhetoric that will incite violence and aggregate insecurity in the nation, while avoiding deployment of unauthorized security outfits to advance their interests in any. Currently, not less than 88 different parties have national security outfits established by state governments, local governments, as well as other non-state regulated security outfits across the country under various nomenclatures. We have been dealing with reports of the deployment of some of these outfits to advance partisan interests in the countdown to the 2023 general election. Aside this situation, where political actors as part of the electioneering campaign process engage in hate speeches, cyberbullying, false information, and guided statements that will inflame the political space as well as corrupting the electoral process through vote buying or encouraging public and political violence. Ballot box national illegal firearms dealing to advance political motives and subvert the goodwill of the electorate are potent dangers to our democracy. As we witness the signing of the peace accord, I call on all political actors across party lines to, in the overriding national security interest, seal the document from their hearts and as patriotic citizens, respected statements who appreciate that there must be a peaceful Nigeria for their personal and collective political ambitions to strive. On our part as the lead agency in the election security process, I assure all political parties, the citizens, and the international community of our firm determination to synergize with INEC leadership of INEC, leadership of all political parties at all levels, civil society organizations, the military, intelligence community, and other security agencies and all other strategic stakeholders in guaranteeing a peaceful electioneering campaign engagement by all political parties towards delivering a credible 2023 general elections. In furtherance of this, we have commenced a set of actions to sensitize the political class on conduct that will teach them against the law as the electioneering campaign commences. These include issuing a public statement affirming that all parties and the sub-national security outfits are banned from electoral space as they have no statutory role to play in the process. Any attempt, therefore, by any political actor at any level to form or deploy such outfits to advance partisan interests will amount to an offense punishable under the Electoral Act. The Nigerian Police shall perform its statutory mandate of enforcing the law by bringing such persons to any other person whose act violates the electoral law to justice. In this regard, I have already directed all the commissioners of police across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCC to meet with the leadership of all political parties and the resident electoral commissioners in their states towards mutually evolving the campaign schedule in a manner that will address possible cross-party conflicts in terms of date, time, and venue. I assure you that a level playing field and adequate security will be provided to all political parties during the campaign. I, however, wish to specifically appeal to all political parties to cooperate with the Nigerian Police and other security agents in this process and in our general strive to ensure a peaceful electioneering campaign across the country. On this note, I convey my goodwill message to this strategic gathering and that of all other security agencies, including the military and the party, and pray that Unlike Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we continually perfect our beloved nations in the process of getting there. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba, for the goodwill message. I was supposed to say the keynote address. But of course, he has a lot of meat in his goodwill message, and we appreciate the issues you have highlighted in your message. Very quickly, also a youth editorial, presidential candidate of our core party, Professor Christopher. We also have the presidential candidate of NRM, Ambassador Felix Tshisekedi, as well as the only female presidential candidate. Of the 18 of them, we have one female presidential candidate. Round of applause. Annette has confirmed that she's the candidate of the APM, that is Allied People's Movement. Princess Chichi Oje, thank you for being around. So, we're going to try to speed things up. There are a few statutory items we have here that we're going to deal with. Some of them are recorded. But it's my pleasure at this time to welcome and invite the head of the delegation of the European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Her Excellency Ambassador Samuela Isopi, to deliver a good message. Her Excellency Isopi.
Your Excellency, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, former Head of State and Chairman of the National Peace Committee, Your Excellencies, religious and traditional leaders, members of the Peace Committee, the Inspector General of Police, the Chairman of INEC, Chairman of political parties, presidential candidates, civil society organizations, members of the media, colleagues from the international community. I'm truly honored to address you briefly on the occasion of the signing of the first National Peace Accord ahead of the 2023 general elections. In 2015, Nigeria set an example for Africa and for the world with the transition of power from one civilian administration to another one. It is our hope, as a long-standing partner and supporter of Nigeria's democratic governance, that as we move towards 2023 general elections, Nigeria will continue to take new and decisive steps to see a further consolidation of democracy through peaceful, inclusive, credible, and transparent elections. As the largest democracy in Africa, Nigerian elections do matter, and not only for Nigeria. Nigeria's election will also be about the future of democracy in West Africa and the continent. This is why they are so important. Nigeria has an opportunity to lead, to contribute to reversing the trend of undemocratic change of power, and through its leadership, consolidate democracy in the region and beyond. As leaders of political parties and presidential candidates, you have a vital role to play in ensuring peaceful elections, in engaging in peaceful and issue-based campaigns, in taking a firm stance against violence, against hate speech, against misinformation and fake news. As you well know, in politics, words do count. And as political leaders, you are role models for your candidates, for your supporters, for voters, and for citizens. The 2015 and 2019 peace accords facilitated by the National Peace Committee played a vital role, and we welcome the commitments taken today. All stakeholders have a role to play, INEC. We should all lend our support to and respect the fundamental and independent role of INEC. INEC should be allowed to operate free from outside pressure, and in return for the trust increasingly placed in them, demonstrate neutrality and professionalism, guarding jealously their independence, and delivering an effective and efficient process for all. Security forces, in fulfilling their critical role, will have to keep their neutrality and guarantee safety of all campaigners and voters, and in particular of women, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. And we welcome today the presence of the Inspector General of Police representing the service chiefs. The media, as our transparency watchdogs, campaign platforms, and public educators, should also adhere to their own common code of conduct. These shared responsibilities are crucial at all levels. I wish to commend the role of the National Peace Committee and the leadership of His Excellency, former Head of State, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. Your role has been vital in 2015 and 2019, and we demonstrate once again today the importance and the relevance of the committee ahead of the 2023 general elections. As for the international community, and for the European Union and its member states in particular, we wish to reiterate our commitment and our support, but also to stress our impartiality. We are not here to support any particular party or any particular candidate. We are here, at your invitation, to support the process through international expertise, independent observation, and support for the institutions. We are committed to continue supporting the consolidation of the democratic process in Nigeria with our technical support, sharing of experience and good practices, and political engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the European Union, its member states, and the international partners here present, I wish to congratulate you all on today's historic and important step in the adoption of the first National Peace Accord ahead of the next elections. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Samuela Isopi, Head of Delegation of the European Union to Nigeria and ECOWAS. I'm sure you've listened to those who spoke earlier and the indication they gave as to the origins of the peace accords that have been signed for the 2015 and the 2019 general elections, and the first that is to be signed today. Let's refresh our memories with this brief recognition, very brief, about the visuals that we have from the past.
Up to the 2015 general elections generated so much tension and fear that many informed analysts, both within and outside the country, predicted the disintegration of Nigeria. The situation was compounded by the very vitriolic tone of the campaign, in which religious, ethnic, and hate slurs were commonly used to blend, and a significant turning point in the 2015 general election. In the same vein, the political process leading up to the 2019 elections created severe fears and concerns. Once again, the convening power of the National Peace Committee was called upon for intervention. Unlike 2015, the intervention of the NPC in 2019 took a completely different dimension. The signing of the peace accord at the national level was made more than once. The first peace accord was to commit political parties to peaceful campaigns and rallies devoid of incitement, insults, violence, and the deployment of fake news, misinformation, and misrepresentation. The second peace agreement was to ensure that political parties accept the outcome of the void as long as it is adjudged to be fair, free, and credible. Another significant step undertaken by the committee is that the peace conference and signing of the peace agreement was devolved to local level as well. The peace committee participated extensively in state-based interventions. This participation has been informed by the Research and Data Collection Unit of the NPC Secretariat, which assessed the risk of widespread violence in the different states. For example, the National Peace Committee undertook the mobilization and signing of peace agreements in Kogi, Bayelsa, Ondo, Osun State, Ekiti State, and Anambra states. The experience of the NPC in these states indicates that the committee alone cannot support elections in all the states, especially when general elections hold. It is easy for the Peace Committee to intervene in states during staggered elections, but more difficult during general elections. For this reason, the Peace Committee mandated its secretariat to mobilize key stakeholders in 8 states as a pilot scheme for establishing state-based peace architectures. This was done in Adamawa, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Gombe, Taraba, Bauchi, and Enugu states. The mandate of the NPC was officially expanded to include intervention in non-electoral matters. This decision was initiated by the members in their September 2019 plenary meeting and eventually endorsed.
My apologies for walking back late to the lectern. Well, that was a brief documentary on the history of the National Peace Accord that we've had since the 2015 general elections. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're having a slight adjustment. If you have a copy of the program, we're moving item 7, which is supposed to be at this time remarks and commitment to peaceful campaigns. So after the reading, immediately after the reading of the text of the peace accord, and before the political parties and the candidates subscribe to the National Peace Accord. But the organizers, the National Peace Committee, have also included in today's event some elements of time travel. We are all gathered here. The country is ours now, but the country also has and should have a future. So we're having a teenager come up at this time to share her thoughts with us very briefly. Let me invite Naomi Oloyode to deliver a short message to the audience and to Nigerians at large. Naomi.
The Chairman of the National Peace Committee, NPC, General Abdusalam Abubakar, GCFR, the Convener Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, members of the Peace Committee, presidential candidates, party chairmen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Naomi Oloyede. I'm 14 years old. I am here to address you on behalf of our generation, who will be in power from the 2050s. Our dear country has been a subject of controversy. A lot of blame has been passed around with you, our parents and grandparents trading blame. No matter how much you trade the blame, somebody is responsible. Many people are afraid of the future. We are afraid. I see that over 20 million of my brothers and sisters are currently out of school. We, the children, believe that our environment has been destroyed in trying to satisfy the greed of different generations of Nigerians. However, the good news is that a time will come when our country will be peaceful, because there will be no oil money to share anymore. By that time, our country will be using our brains, not our religion, ethnicity, or social class as a means of being important. I just want to transport you to that period when some of you may have retired and no longer active to the scheme of things. This is the way the world is. And as the Holy Book says, a generation comes and another generation goes. By 2050, if I become president, there will be no fighting during elections because our generation would have found a cure for corruption, violence, and stealing of votes using technology. By 2050, as president, I would not need 20 cars following me because there will be no need for that. Again, by 2050, we would have found a cure for hunger because food production will not be a problem. To every leader and stakeholder here today, I want to appeal to you to put this country first in everything you are doing and planning to do. Finally, as you start your campaign, please, in the name of God, have our future in mind and try to leave a safe country for us. This is not the time to settle scores. This is the best gift you could give us, and it is the greatest assurance that you too will retire in peace. When you do this, then you will be remembered with fondness and not blame. I look forward to growing up in a beautiful country where there is peace and where the rule of law is respected. Thank you, God bless you all, and God bless our country, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Naomi Oloyede, 14 years old, and schooling here in the Federal Capital Territory. She's given a script of what they expect for the future, and best of luck to all of us. Very quickly, we're going to some peace messages from eminent Nigerians. Two of them were participants in the first National Peace Accord that was signed for the 2015 elections. I'm here speaking of former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, and incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, and of course they will be joined by the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello. It's a short one, recorded, and I crave your indulgence to listen to their messages of peace.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the FCT administration and the entire residents of Abuja, our beautiful capital city, it's my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the signing of the first National Peace Accord for the 2023 general elections by all presidential candidates. The central objective of the accord signing ceremony being organized by the highly credible National Peace Committee under the distinguished leadership of His Excellency General Abdusalami Abubakar, GCFR, is to promote issue-based political rallies during campaigns for the 2023 elections. The accord is expected to commit the various presidential candidates to peaceful and non-violent campaigns, devoid of personal attacks and insults, both online and offline, particularly by their teaming supporters. This is more critical now, considering the increasing role of social media in public discourse. Therefore, we should all support this laudable initiative by the National Peace Committee. In concluding, I wish to convey the sincere appreciation of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to the Peace Committee under the distinguished leadership of General Abdusalami Abubakar for choosing Abuja as the host city for this historical event. I want to also further commit our dedication to all activities of the National Peace Committee as part of our contribution towards deepening democracy in our fatherland. Thank you very much, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I extend my felicitations to His Excellency General Abdusalami Abubakar and other members of the National Peace Committee for putting together this peace accord ceremony ahead of the 2023 general elections. I commend the resilience and commitment of members of the National Peace Committee to peace in our country and their efforts toward ensuring peaceful elections in Nigeria. Let me also offer my warm greetings to all the presidential candidates, other candidates contesting other levels of elections, and fellow compatriots for their patriotism and interest in the peace of our country. I urge all of us to continue to share in the prayers and enthusiasm of the Peace Committee for a peaceful, free, and fair elections in our nation. The task of ensuring peaceful elections in 2023 is our collective responsibility. Although we are all key stakeholders, we must say that it behoves on the candidates and the leaders of the various parties to lead the process for peaceful elections in our country. We are at a critical stage in our national life where we have no choice but to promote national cohesion, love, and hope in order to make the desired progress. We cannot afford to continue to play politics of bitterness and division along ethnic and religious lines. This is because such kind of politics portends great danger to our unity, growth, and the sustenance of our democracy. We have to be mindful of the destructive impact of hate speech, fake news, and mindless propaganda, especially in a climate where the fabric of unity and stability still needs to be strengthened. I charge the candidates, their promoters, and supporters to exercise restraint and seek to run their campaigns based on issues that affect our people. They should, by all means, avoid needless attacks on personalities and use of abusive language for those are the elements that cause chaos and crisis during elections. Political stability and growth of democracy in any country are usually measured by the quality of elections. In this regard, we expect our democracy to be consolidated in such a way that our electoral process will be seen to record incremental progress at the end of every election cycle. Unfortunately, this has not been the case, as there are signs of inconsistencies with the progress we make in our elections. As citizens of this great country, we all have the responsibility to redirect our steps, strive to work harder, and do the right thing to avoid the stagnation of our democracy. Since I left office in 2015, I've been involved in the process of promoting democracy across Africa. My experience as an election observer, having led observation missions to many countries, is that many African countries are working hard to improve their elections and deepen the roots of democracy in their land. Many of us will recall that elections held recently in Kenya, Ghana, and the Gambia, and I am pleased that peaceful outcomes were recorded in those countries. In 2023, I expect our country to raise the bar for credible and transparent elections by ensuring that our electoral processes are peaceful, free, and fair. Once again, I urge our candidates to lead the charge and strive to make our electioneering issue-based, clean, and violence-free. Thank you all. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I thank members of the National Peace Committee, led by its chairman, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, for their commitment and dedication to supporting peaceful elections in Nigeria and for facilitating peace generally across the country. As the President, I have always reiterated my commitment to peaceful, credible, and transparent elections, and what the Peace Committee has been doing over the years aligns with my belief that Nigeria needs peace in order to achieve credible elections. However, the rise of fake news and misinformation continue to pose a significant threat to democracy in Nigeria. It has shifted focus away from issue-based campaigns to amplifying the potential for personal attacks, insults, and incitement. It has also significantly diminished the civility and decency in public discourse and debate. The initiatives undertaken by National Peace Committee to commit all political actors to issue-based campaign devoid of incitement, personal insults, and attacks is a welcome development. The 2023 general election is more than an election. It is an opportunity to serve Nigeria, to defend Nigeria, and to uphold her unity and progress. Therefore, I call on all Nigerians, political parties, politicians, security agencies, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and all stakeholders to ensure that Nigeria is placed far above regional and sectional claims. I appeal to the contestants, especially their publicity agents and media advisors, to shun personal attacks, avoid insults and incitement, reject the spread of fake news, and commit to issue-based campaigns and political rallies. Once again, let me emphasize that everything must be done to support the National Peace Committee in their work to ensure the peaceful elections in Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, those were peace messages from incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari. former President Goodluck Jonathan, and Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Musa Bello. What is the text of the National Peace Accord to be signed President political parties and their presidential candidates? May I crave your indulgence to carefully view the screen where the text of the National Peace Accord, the first National Peace Accord, and thereafter we will invite very brief remarks, probably about 60 seconds, indicating the commitment of the parties and the candidates to peaceful campaigns. And at the time of the subscription to the accord, we will have 4 tables on the platform, and the parties will be called out in alphabetical order: the party chairman and the presidential candidate. In the absence of the presidential candidate, the vice presidential candidate. Or, in the absence of the party chairman, other senior designated officers. They will come out and endorse the National Peace Accord. And after the endorsement, they are kindly requested to still remain on the platform for a photo session. May we have the text projected on the screen so that the parties and the candidates may be fully apprised of the text of the National Peace Accord.
2022 National Peace Accord on the prevention of violence and issue-focused campaigns by presidential candidates and chairpersons of the political parties contesting the 2023 general elections under the auspices of the National Peace Committee, NPC, with the undersigned presidential candidates and chairpersons of the underlisted political parties contesting in the 2023 general elections. We are forming our commitment to taking proactive measures towards the creation of a conducive environment for the conduct of a credible, fair, transparent, and verifiable electoral process. Cognizant of the need to maintain a peaceful environment before, during, and after the 2023 general elections, we are affirming our commitment to fully abide by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to respect the rules and regulations as laid down in the legal framework for elections in Nigeria, and to adhere to best international standards and best practices of our democratic process. Desirous of sustaining and promoting the unity and corporate existence of Nigeria as an indivisible entity, determined to avoid any conduct or behavior that will endanger the political stability and national security of Nigeria, mindful of our responsibility towards the Nigerian citizens and their democratic rights, and determined to place national interests above personal and partisan concerns, hereby commit ourselves and our parties to the following: to conduct our campaigns in a manner that focuses on policy issues and promotion of our party manifestos, to ensure that we, our spokespersons, members and supporters refrain from insults, intimidation, incitements, bribery, extortion and violence. Our conduct will be in accordance with the rule of law, both online and offline, throughout the electoral process. To ensure that we, as spokespersons, party members and supporters, refrain from disseminating fake news, misinformation, disinformation throughout our campaign engagements, both online and offline. To engage in authentic campaigning practices, including responsible use of genuine and official online social media accounts for our campaigns and avoiding disinformation and misinformation or the use of fake parody accounts or online violence. To ensure that in our parties, women, youths and persons with disability are protected from assault, violence and discrimination throughout the campaign period and beyond. To condemn both publicly and privately instigators and perpetrators of all acts of discrimination and violence based on gender, ethnicity, belief, age, and political affiliation. To support all institutions of government involved in conducting or securing the elections, in particular the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the security agencies to act with professionalism, impartiality, and transparency. To discourage state agencies, institutions, and public officers from supporting partisans' interests in any form, incitement to violence, or other offences that may threaten the integrity of the electoral process. This includes vote trading and any action that endangers the security of Nigerians and non-Nigerians before, during, and after the elections. To use peaceful, inclusive, respectful, culturally sensitive, educative, and issue-based communications devoid of personal attacks, character assassination throughout the electoral process. To fully collaborate with the National Peace Committee, made up of respected statesmen and women, traditional and religious leaders, in its mission to monitor the adherence to this accord. To abide by the letter and spirit of this accord, and if my actions and utterances, or those of any party or that of my party violates the sensitivity of the accord, we accept to be held accountable according to the laws and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We agree to the full application of national and international law against any subversion of the electoral process.
Your Excellency, Party Chairman, Presidential Congress, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that was the text of the National Peace Accord to be acceded to by the candidates and their political parties. May I, by agreement, respectfully invite the Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Engineer Yabagi Yusuf Sani, to disclose and affirm the commitment of the political parties and their presidential candidates to peaceful campaigns. 60 seconds.
Let me quickly stand on the open protocol and recognize the National Chairman of the National Peace Committee, in person of General Abubakar, CFR, and to affirm that as political parties who are the key stakeholders in the process of deepening democracy, conducting elections, we commit to the peaceful, credible, reliable, and all-inclusive elections in the most populous nation of the continent of Africa, Nigeria. I pray Allah to make that happen and make us proud as leaders, not only on the continent of Africa, but in the Committee of Nations. So on behalf of all the political parties, I congratulate Nigerians that 2023 elections is going to be free, fair, and credible. Thank you for the opportunity to say this.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the Party Advisory Council, Engineer Yabagi Yusuf Sani, for that pledge on behalf of the 18 political parties. Now is the time to subscribe to the peace accord. And as I indicated earlier, there are 4 tables. Each of the tables will accommodate 4 political parties, party chairman or other senior official of the party, and the presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate. For each of the 4 tables, there is a 5th table. That 5th table will be used by the INEC chairman, the Inspector General of Police, and the chairman of the Peace Committee as the last page for the signatories to the Peace Accord. Accordingly, I will respectfully invite the national chairman of our Accord Party, Mohammed Lawa Malado, and the candidate of the party, Christopher Imumole, Kenneth Udezi, national chairman, Action Alliance, and the candidate, Hamza Al-Mustafa, Omoyole Showore is the chairman of African Action Congress and also the candidate of the African Action Congress. He will be directed accordingly to the table. Ralph Okewosu, national chairman, African Democratic Congress, and the candidate of the party, Dumede Atiku. National chairman, Action Democratic Party, and also the candidate of the Action Democratic Party, Yusuf Sani Yaba. The next table, and please remember, and this is for the attention of the signatories to the accord. After endorsing the accord, kindly stay back on the platform. Second table, Abdullahi Adamu, National Chairman of Progressive Congress, and the candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or the Vice Presidential candidate, Alhaji Shetima. All Progressive Grand Alliance, ADGA, National Chairman Victor Ikechukwu Oye, and the candidate, Chukwudi Peter Umabi. All Allied People's Movement, National Chairman Yusuf Dankale, candidate Princess Chichi Oje. Action People's Party, National Chairman Uche Nnamdi, candidate Charles Osita Nnamdi. Boots Party, National Chairman Sunday Adenuga, candidate Sunday Adenuga. Table 3. Table 3. National Chairman, Labour Party, Julius Aburu. Candidate, Peter Gabriel Obi. New Nigeria People's Party, National Chairman, Rufai Ahmed Alkali. Candidate, Rabi Odisa Kwankwaso. National Chairman, National Rescue Movement, Isaac Uday, candidate Felix Osakwe. National Chairman, People's Democratic Party, Iyoja Ayu, or other high-ranking official of the party, and the candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. People's Democratic Party National Chairman, Falalu Bello, and candidate, Kolawole Abiola. And the last table, that's table 4, National Chairman, Social Democratic Party, Shehu Kabam, candidate, Adewale Ebenezer Adebayo. National Chairman, Young Progressive Party, Bishop Amakiri, candidate Abdul Malik Abdul Ibrahim. Zenith Labour Party. National Chairman, Dan Uwayan, candidate Dan Uwayan.
Chairman. You like
candidates and the chairman of political parties. They are here to assure Nigerians that 2023 will be peaceful. If you are in support of that, say aye. Aye. We witness the signing of this day, and we are very optimistic that together we continue to build a better Nigeria. If you can quickly say aye again. Aye. Let's put hands together for them. Let's put hands together for them. Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right. Okay, can we please return to our seats? We're on the home stretch of this very significant event. We're on the home stretch of this very significant event. Kindly please return to your seats. We have just 2 items left, and they are pretty short. 2 items left. 2 items left. And I'm sure there will be more opportunity for the interaction. There will be more opportunities for the interaction. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to appreciate all who have made this historic event possible. The commitment to peaceful campaigns, commitment to peace in the country ultimately, and to the credibility of the 2023 general elections. Kindly return to your seats. Time to show appreciation. May I respectfully invite the convener of the National Peace Committee, Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Hassan Kuka, to please deliver the vote of thanks. My Lord Bishop Kuka, please, your attention is required here. My Lord Bishop Kuka, yes, they will return to their seats once they see you commencing.
They'll be reaching out from Cotonou.
Chairman of the National Peace Committee, let me, for very obvious reasons, as they say, stand on existing protocols. I'm sure you appreciate why people like us should stand on existing protocols. My job is very easy, and it's made easier by what has taken place. So really and truly, we want to thank you. But first we start by thanking God, the creator of heaven and earth, the sustainer of our lives, and the sustainer of our country, who has guided and brought us so far. We want to thank in a very special way, on behalf of the members of the Peace Committee, our chairman, whom, as you can see from his condition, has defied his physical ailments to be with us. Chairman, sir, your devotion, dedication to the cause that we've just tried to enact is what inspires us. The President of the National Assembly, the Senate President and the Speaker, members of the National Assembly, we want to thank you, especially through your collaboration with the President. In a very special way, I appreciate the President for fast-tracking the processes required to put our electoral processes on an even key. We are convinced that these developments have inspired and will inspire more confidence in ordinary Nigerians, and sooner than later, we believe that the doors of freedom, truly democratic continent begins to open. We want to thank in a very special way and use, as it is said, the General of Police as a point of contact to say how deeply appreciation we have of the security agencies for the great work that they do. The police is not only our friend, the police is a friend of democracy. I want to congratulate those whose behalf we are here, namely those who are invited us to this very solemn ceremony. It looks perfunctory, it looks formal, but it has deep implications. Because what you have done
PDP
signs both your commitment to the processes
and others
all of them in a very special way, the ordinary people of Nigeria,
Vice President.
whose love for democracy is quite relentless.
Currently,
We ask God to
presidential
continue to
candidate
bless us.
of PDP, the Labour Party, is also on the seat. That is Peter Obi, seated close to the Peter Obi, as a vice presidential candidate of APC, standing in for Tinubu, because Tinubu is on the seat to Vice President
election monitors
Kashim
who are here with
Shettima,
us and
sitting
whose presence continues to inspire us
for
to
the
greater commitment to electoral
right there is a Rabi Kwankwaso,
the work of the Peace Committee
presidential candidate
to the Swiss Embassy.
seat.
Because it was the Swiss Embassy that first invited me in early 2014 to begin a conversation about the possibility of preparing for the fact that Nigeria's elections in 2015. And this came through the inspiration of Kofi Annan and his experience with the elections in Kenya. As you know, the 2013 elections in Kenya had happened against the backdrop of great violence. And for us in Nigeria, I think Kenya should be learning from us, not the other way around, because whereas Kenya became independent only on the 12th of December 1963, Nigeria had been enjoying independence for a clear 3 years before that. But I think we derive inspiration from Kenya, and we commend them, because they ran the most peaceful, most transparent, most acceptable elections. And their institutions were able to see through that process. We hope, therefore, that the lesson we can learn from them is that these 2023 elections, despite the anxieties and the fears, that by the grace of God, elections will be free, fair, and credible. The IG, the chairman, in their speeches, made reference to the deep concerns that ordinary Nigerians are having. And whereas INEC is making tremendous progress, we are witnessing activities by political actors that don't do justice to the process. That is unacceptable, the level of vote buying. Now, we are aware of the capacity of this process to undermine the entire project of democracy. Yes, Nigerians are poor. Yes, Nigerians are suffering. But none of that is a substitute. And politicians must not exploit the weaknesses of our people in the way and manner that has made vote buying part of our culture. We hope that with the penalties already spelled out with the chairman of INEC speech and the IG, that those who compromise the process will face the wrath of the law. I want to thank the chairman of INEC and his able team for inspiring greater confidence in the process. We want to assure you of our constant support. And for the members of the media, we want to thank you for being with us all the way. We commend you and we appreciate the great work that you do. The EU ambassador has already made a point. We want to thank them very sincerely for the great support that they continue to render to the Peace Committee. The members of the Peace Committee collect absolutely no penny for their work. All our travels and other bills and the administration of the work of the Peace Committee, the bills are being footed by the European Union and the Swiss Embassy. We really want to really and truly thank them. Finally, let me express my deep appreciation to Father Barkindo, who is the head of the Secretariat, and all the staff at the Kuka Center, who have done such a tremendous job of setting all this together and getting us to where we are. Finally, the Minister of the FCT, we extend our very, very special appreciation to him, because when we approach the management of this facility, despite the high cost we were charged, we were told that the facility was not available. We thank our chairman who approached the minister, and we thank the minister for making this facility available to us. We are very much assured and encouraged by this collaboration and support. So once again, we want to thank you, and all of you who are contestants. We know that one of you is going to be the president of Nigeria. Our fears and our anxieties and hopes have already been articulated. May God give you the confidence, the opportunity to do what needs to be done for the progress of our country. God bless you all, and God bless our dear country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lord Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, for thanking all those who made this event a tremendous success. Please listen to the following announcements. Please listen to the following announcements. Refreshment will be served as you depart the auditorium. And members of the National Peace Committee and also members of the Diplomatic Corps are kindly requested to converge one more time, well, to meet at the holding room, which is Benway Hall, which is where you were before the program started. So once again, members of the Peace Committee and members of the Diplomatic Corps are kindly requested to meet at Benway Hall. To close, we will take the national anthem, and once again, the Peace Committee has deemed it fit